I know, yeah.
And, you know, everyone is so cynical, undereducated and underemployed, and they're just mad. And the idea of escapism and being entertained and being able to share an experience like that with people is just, it's lost. It's lost on the cynicism. And I'd really like to change that. I want to bring everything to higher ground.
Vulgore of the glory, Vulgore for the glory, Vulgore.
I like there's textures to some old films that really inspired me in a lot of ways, and especially like a silent film where the only dialogue is every now and then there's a static cue card that's held up that try to tell somewhat of the story. But even without those cue cards, the subtleties really had to go a long way back then, because there was nothing else. There wasn't a shit ton of CGI and all this other nonsense to, you know, to spruce up uninteresting filmmaking. And I think with each period, technology does different things. You know, sometimes it can be a really good tool. Sometimes it's a cheat, and it's kind of up to the user to define which one it's going to be. To have the luxury of doing some form of a concept-oriented video, it just gives you a chance to allow the, you know, like the other artistic side, you know, one more medium of conveying emotion.
Demanding shopping, listing size, seek and fail. Join them uses one device. We smell and poison ground below the father's calling.
Well, initially there was a lot of people. It was very divided. I mean, black and white. More so than I could have ever imagined. But you know, it makes things interesting. I stand by that. Yeah. I've been, you know, I see things, and yeah, the commentary. You know, some people were, well, I heard that it was whatever, but now I listened to it. I really like it. You know, like, that'll happen. Yeah. Honestly, the same thing happened for all the records when we went from. I remember "Blessed Are the Sick" clearly. People had all kinds of comments to say about that, and you know, it just, you know, a little bit of time under its belt, and it's you know, a lot of people's favorite record. So.
Lines alone but drawn between the life and death, the right and wrong. But what's the reason? What's the reason? The walls are high, we know they gotta come down. This wave been crossing the line since 1989. We're moving the world because our power is a shining.
That started off kind of going one direction, and then it kind of came together in the studio in a different direction. And it's one, you know, it's just another thing out there.
Yeah.
And the weird thing is that as much as some people have focused on that, you know, like traditional, I would say death metal, you know, fans have focused on that song as being, you know, one that they don't care for. There's a myriad of people who are not fans of what I would consider a typical, you know, Morbid Angel fan. That's their favorite song.
Yeah.
The Monday morning quarterbacking, that's up to other people to do. You know, we go in and we do what we do, and it's a big, it's a broad spectrum. I think that it always have. You know, this one just is a little bit more broad than some of its predecessors. There's some things that I would say that I would listen to today that I wasn't really a big fan of when I was a kid. It just something that it just seemed too mellow or too, you know, like Pink Floyd, for example. I can listen to Pink Floyd now, whereas I never appreciated it, you know, when I was a kid. But I just felt it was just too sort of, I don't know, shoegazing, you know. It didn't have the energy. But sometimes the energy comes in a lot of different ways. It doesn't have to always be bombastic.
When you have different stimuli, especially, I mean, I'm really respond to sound. You know, you hear things, and it elicits some kind of a reaction in the brain, even if it's subconscious. You know.
I don't know whether I thought about
the future like that.
No, I don't. Back in the late '80s, did I think that we would still be doing this at this point? I don't know that I thought about it, to be honest with you. You know, your head's in a different place, and each day comes, and hopefully you learn something new or you grow in some way. And yeah, I mean, it has. At my core, I'm the same person, but definitely I've grown a lot, and I've, you know, I mean, fuck, we were just kids back then, and you know, I think, you know, there's no replacement for, you know, time spent on the planet in terms of learning and growing and experiencing new things, and being inspired to continue to sort of have a creativity, you know, flow.
The race is on to find a pure one with simple subjects. Wow, this never could be fun. Cause presento duelo como niño del listo día cuando corro de ella.
Trey calls it the rocking chair effect. You know, when you're 80 and you're sitting on the front porch in a rocking chair and you're thinking, what did I do? Just being expressive, doing different things, making stuff cool, giving people something that is outside of the bounds of the norm, as it were.
For the glory, Vulgore, del the